There's this quiet tension you feel every single day, buried deep beneath the surface, like a flicker you can't quite put out. It's that gut feeling that what you do, what you're part of, doesn't get seen the way it should. You're at the core of the most crucial decisions, the ones that shape futures and build empires, yet somehow the spotlight barely touches you. You aren't just sitting on the sidelines, you're in the game, you're taking the risks, pushing the limits. But who's really recognizing that? Who's telling your story? Who's shining light on your power? It's frustrating, maybe even infuriating, to see founders and CEOs celebrated endlessly while the people who fuel the engine, who put their trust and money on the line as limited partners, remain in the shadows. It feels like a silent cage, a ceiling hanging invisibly above you, stopping others from knowing how vital you are, how much influence you wield. There's a loneliness in that silence, a nagging question. Are limited partners finally getting their spotlight, or are we choosing to fade deeper into the background, hiding from a world that refuses to see our true weight? You've built something rare and valuable. You take on risk in a way that most don't understand. You carry the weight of potential on your shoulders. But the world tries to convince you otherwise. It tells you to step back, not to rock the boat, to keep things comfortable, to blend in quietly, to hold your cards close and not demand the acknowledgement you deserve. That's a trap, a slow erasure, leaving your voice to drown in the noise of louder, flashier players. You feel that pressure every time you walk into a room, every time a conversation skips over your role like it's just a checkbox. You know there's more. There has to be. But here's the thing, nobody tells you. The spotlight isn't just about being seen, it's about owning your space so fiercely that the world has no choice but to look. It's about turning what feels like invisibility into your strongest power move yet. Because the truth is, you hold the keys to a different kind of influence. One the world is only starting to realize. You're not just writing checks, you're shaping outcomes. You're architects of future legacies, without the expected fanfare, yes, but with a power that's infinitely deeper, more rooted, more permanent. No one's going to hand you this spotlight on a silver platter. It's yours to take. And that starts by shifting how you think about your role. Right now, you might feel boxed in by expectations. You're the silent supporter, the patient watcher, the risk holder who doesn't speak loudly. But what if the real power isn't in quiet waiting? What if it's in deliberate, bold presence? Not being loud for noise's sake, but choosing where to plant your flag, where to make your voices impossible to ignore. It's time to stop shrinking to fit a frame built for others and start reshaping the frame to fit you. This means rejecting the idea that your value lies solely in the financial. Your value lives in the vision you bring, in the questions you ask, in the risks you're willing to challenge openly. It's time to move past just being the money behind the scenes and become the force that founders and innovators look to, not just for cash, but for insight, for partnership, for courage. Imagine what happens when you step fully into that role. When you stop being the quiet backer and start being the sharp edge, the catalyst for change. Suddenly, the game looks different. Doors open. Conversations shift. Your voice no longer echoes in a void, but commands attention. But how do you get there? It starts by owning your individual power without apology. This is about recognizing that your sovereignty, the unshakable ownership of your decisions, your intuition, your principles, is your weapon. This isn't about fitting into someone else's system or timeline. It's about carving your own path and using your position to amplify what truly matters. That means asking the hard questions others might shy away from. Are the systems we're investing in really aligned with the future we want to build? Are we supporting innovation that breaks molds or just copies old models in shinier packaging? Are we partnering with founders who are brave enough to rethink what's possible or settling for comfort disguised as progress? This kind of questioning will unsettle the status quo, and that's exactly what's needed, because mediocrity doesn't need you. The safe, predictable path that rewards the average and punishes risk is a trap for those who dream bigger. You, as a limited partner, are the rare breed who refuses to settle for borrowed security. You burn with a fire that wants to reshape the rules, not follow them. But this fire needs fuel, and that fuel comes from connection, not just widespread networking, but strategic, deep alignment with a few who share your vision and fire. You don't need to be everywhere. You need to be known intimately by the few who match your intensity. There's power in patience, too. The kind of patience that plays the long game and knows that real influence takes time to build. This patience is active, not passive. It's deliberate patience that sharpens your strategy and fortifies your resolve. Because true transformation isn't instant. It's slow, measured, and relentless. Picture what happens when limited partners start claiming their space like this. When the silence breaks, not through noise, but through presence. When you stop hiding your fire beneath layers of humility or caution and instead let it blaze with clarity and confidence. This isn't self-promotion. It's self-liberation. Yes, liberation. Because the greatest captivity you face isn't in contracts or market dynamics. It's in the culture of invisibility, in the world's refusal to acknowledge your role beyond a line item. You're not here to wait for permission or validation. Liberation happens when you seize it, when you choose transformation over comfort, action over slogans, impact over appearances. By doing this, you don't erase the differences that make each of you unique. You honor them and use them as a foundation for strength. Through this individuality, your unity grows. It's in the few who dare to rise above that the many will find their freedom. You might be thinking, this sounds risky. What if stepping into this light makes me vulnerable? That's the point. Vulnerability isn't weakness. It's the doorway to authenticity and unshakable trust. When you show who you really are, what you really value, you invite deeper, more meaningful connections. And in those connections lies the true power. You're not going to find this shift in the headlines or the conventional advice columns because it's not a trend. It's a movement from within, a rebellion against the way things have been done, and a passionate claim for how they should be. Your role as a limited partner isn't minor. It's central and revolutionary if you let it be. If you feel that silence tightening inside you, that unmistakable signal saying you're meant for more than passive watching, then this is your moment. Not to ask for the spotlight, not to wait for it, to take it, to own it, to become the rare force of transformation that only you can be. Because in a world desperate for true change, limited partners hold the secret weapon, the power of patient, sovereign influence, unapologetic critical thinking, and the courage to build futures no one has dared to imagine yet. This isn't about fitting in. This is about standing out, about unlearning what others have told you about your place, and rewriting it all with your own hand. The spotlight is not a gift. It's a choice, and it's waiting for those who burn too bright to stay hidden. So what's next? Step fully into that space. Claim your voice. Find your few who burn as fiercely as you do. Question everything. Redefine your reality. Be patient. Be relentless. And watch as the world finally starts to see you, not as a shadow behind the scenes, but as the light that guides the way forward.